I'm making a video. The battery is still mostly charged. I have to pay attention to the battery because I forgot to bring the power cord. Dang, it's always something. So, but I'm going to bring the power cord from my old white Acer here. That way I'm not gonna forget the power cord, because the power cord is plugged in at the other house, and it's plugged in and all set up, and that's why I forgot it. So I have to have one plugged in here, over there, and one at the other house in my room, which has become a wardrobe room. I have a couch in there that I used to sleep on. That gave me also all kinds of hip and back problems, so I'm not sleeping on this anymore, but now I converted it into a closet. I converted a couch into a closet by laying clean clothes on it, and they are piled up to half the size of the room, like almost 5 foot tall or something. It's a 5 foot tall clothes tower, and I don't know what else to do. I have too much stuff. That's all there is to it. We are not minimalists. Yeah, we are not very chi prana oriented here in our homes. I want to make it chi prana. I want everything empty. This is as empty as we can possibly manage, because, and only because, we brought most of the stuff to the other house, because we're selling this house for $600,000. So if anyone is interested, you're welcome to make an offer, to make an auction bid. It will only go up from there. Donald Trump is going to bring all of our homes up in price. This is wonderful. I absolutely love it. So excited about it. So that painting over there, Together Forever, will go to the other house, and I will hang that over the beds in the bedroom. That's going to look really, really amazing. And yesterday we came back here. So this is really my dream house, but we have no other choice. We have to sell it because we want to relocate inland. I can't say where, but I have to go where the weather is, where the air is dry. I can't be here in this cold, wet air is really the absolute worst. It doesn't get worse than that. This is the total arthritis weather that causes nerve pain. It causes black mold that is cold resistant, and black cold resistant mold is literally the worst type of mold you can possibly imagine. So I don't recommend for people to move with their animals and children to the west coast of the northern region, whatever it is, Alaska, Canada, Washington, Oregon, and even Northern California. That's this entire northern Pacific coastal range that all has the same weather, and the farther north you go, of course, the colder it gets, the longer the winters last. So finally, spring has started. This is the end of February. This is pretty early, but that's because we are not in Alaska, we are not in Washington. So I'm glad. But when we used to live in LA, and Paul suggested to move to Northern California, I was very, very, very hesitant about this. I dreaded it, actually, because his dad and I we were, we were both standing in front of the one heater that was built into the wall and that was radiating heat out into the hallway and into the living room. Ernie was standing shivering in front of the heater in the hallway and I was standing shivering in front of the same heater on the other side in the living room. And sometimes he was standing. Yeah, I even have photos of that. He was standing shivering in front of the heater in the living room next to my artwork, and I took a photo of that. I thought that was cool. But that was not right of Paul, to constantly turn the heaters down. That's what caused Ernie to suffer, caused me to suffer. That caused me numerous bladder infections. It caused me even nerve pain in October and November. That was really hell. It was hellish. But I healed this with cranberry supplements, with Pieris japonica and rhododendron tea. Very powerful. And of course, I quit white sugar already more than half a year ago. And I quit chocolate. Chocolate is toxic, okay? Not just because of the cocoa plant itself, which has a bunch of toxins in it naturally, but that's not the worst. The absolute worst of it is that it comes from third world countries where they use very heavy lead gasoline, and the streets are just loaded with lead, and this lead goes into the cocoa plants, and they dry the cocoa. Paul said they dry it out there on the street in, I don't know, Ghana or something, or Nigeria, and then there's heavy traffic with totally unprotected environmental, there's no environmental laws at all, so complete overload of lead in gasoline, constantly polluting the cocoa plants that are laid out there to dry in the sun. Okay, and that goes into the manufacturing of chocolate, and people then they go and they buy, let's say, Lindt chocolate or Toblerone or truffles from Belgium, truffle chocolates, pralines. They spent a lot of money on it thinking, this must be good, right? No, it is loaded with white sugar, first of all, which is toxic. And with that cocoa that has been polluted with lead and cadmium, okay? And who knows what else, nickel and strontium-90, aluminum chaff particles, you name it, okay, it's all in there. And no, I decided, I don't know, it was maybe about a year ago, I decided that's it. I'm not going to put this into my body or my precious brain, because I need my precious brain to function if I want to be a proper activist for the animals and the earth. Okay, so I just want to show this here right now. I just want to show this real quick. This is the painting we're going to bring to the other house, Together Forever, with the Papa dog, Nicola, Kenny, and Paul there in the corner. There's Paul. I can't show the actual Paul. He's right there in the chair. He will get real mad and yell at me. So, but I just want to show, this is my starship, my mothership collection. So this is the park, but that's also a mothership, of course. Park mothership. Okay, my lovely, lovely babies. And the horse is also Kenny. So, and the two basset hounds, and then there is another formation in there, a beautiful thing. And Yeah, that is called that's my formation that I call Donald Trump. And this here is actually the first of the series. This is ET Spaceship 1. Okay. So, and those are the figures that I used to make videos with. That figure in the corner, that is me, representative for me, and Elon Musk and his bodyguards here, and then all kinds of other figures that have played different roles in the past. And these two here I brought from the other house, I made at the other house, and these are actually ET Spaceship ET Spaceship 4 and 5, that's it, yeah. So, and then I have 6 that's still at the other house, 7 and 8 are still at the other house. And spaceship, ET Spaceship 9 Stargate Galactica is hanging on the wall. I already showed that in one of my videos. This is very gorgeous, is this? Yes, and I used a glue which apparently molds, not very good. So, and the rat got on it and has done some damage and has chewed into my artwork. I brought this one with us yesterday. It was still at the other house, and now here standing by the window it finally has a chance for this mud in there to dry. It already started drying, so, and then because the mud doesn't look very good, I made a big mistake in the past. Of course. I used, this is so I mean, I should have thought about this. I used these sugar, really toxic, full of artificial color sugars, like marshmallow, little marshmallow hearts and different things, that there was always a little package of those that came with a package of cocoa powder. So I quit all of this, of course, but I used to drink this cocoa powder, Swiss Miss, and then had this one package had this, the unicorn, ultra toxic. No, they didn't write ultra toxic, or for obvious reason, right? Because they want to sell it. But I put this in parentheses. The unicorn glitter hearts and symbol and the happy, something like happy rainbow marshmallow pieces that we're supposed to put into the hot chocolate. Yeah, I tried that a few times and I had a bad guilty feeling when I did that. And I thought, no, this isn't good. I gotta quit this. We gave it to the neighbors. That's also mean, you know. Why would we give something that is not good for us to the neighbors? I guess because they're already living so unhealthy that it's just almost doesn't make a difference, right? But anyway, you can see mold in some of these places on those figures, and this is very unfortunate. I have to do some touch up on it. And over there is a piece that the rat chewed on, and the rat chewed on two other ones over there, and the rat chewed on two so bad that I had to see what I could do with it, and I mixed them together into the orange and white sculpture there. This is a blue god in dog form. This really consists of two astronauts that are mixed together the other day at the other house. So, and this Play-Doh does not seem to dry for some reason. I don't know why that is, but well, the rat thought this was some yummy candy or something, but it's not. But I think it must contain flour, so it probably contains flour, and that's why the rat chewed on it and broke off, just chewed on it. And I guess it spit out pieces, and then there was one area where these two astronauts were lying on the side, and the rat had chewed a pile of pieces next to them. I don't know if the rat is female or male, so I would say he, but that could also be a pregnant mother, and I don't want her to eat such toxic stuff. That would not be good. So yeah, and this is very, very nice, and it's all painted on the side as well, so it looks really good like this. And I want to dry flower petals, and I want to dry the Camellia japonica Professor Sargent flower petals here on the window board, and then I will sprinkle them into this mud and make it look a little better, because that doesn't look very appetizing. That looks like sewer pits or something. But yeah, I put these marshmallows in there, stuck in there together with that, like a generic Elmer's glue that we got really cheap. Okay, now I know why we got that glue so cheap. It was some sort of like an outlet situation, because I guess a lot of people didn't like it, and I guess the reason why is because it doesn't dry. And then the rats and the ants got in here, lots of ants got in here and ate into these marshmallows, so that's why they have hollow holes in there. And that was all a bad idea. But I'm going to put these flower petals in it and do some touch up, and then it should be okay. So my artwork, this is very special. All of this is special to me. My artwork is going to stay with the house. Also these pieces here. So, and then we found some beautiful, beautiful rocks at the beach. So that is very, very awesome. I absolutely love it. Okay. Oh yeah, then I want to show the Trump Tower. I don't think I've shown the Trump Tower yet. This is the Trump Tower here. This painting there was made by Paul's mother. Right next to it, next to the Trump Tower. And then above those are the two ghosts and a piece that I had made a long time ago, like, I don't know, was it 2008 or something. So yeah, this is the Trump Tower here. I made this, I don't know, 2015 or something, and no, 2016 at least. So this has Donald Trump in it, standing in there next to the Trump Tower. Very, very cute. Very, very, very lovely. That stays here as well. These stay here. This is the baby dog, and the blue golden dog form, blue golden dog form, and blue golden dog form with a platform shoe. And these here, these two I made in LA long time ago. Like, I think I finished those in 2004, in the middle of 2004. So these are actually canvases that are from Paul's mother, that she had started painting on it, and I was being very disrespectful and painted over her paintings. I feel kind of guilty about this. I wonder if that's wrong. I probably should not have done it. But the paintings were not completed. So we can also look at it this way. I painted the blue god in dog form and person form over them, and that gave Betty an infinite blessing from the blue god. Then I have a bunch of stuff here in the cabinet as well. And then I have, this is the frog pond And these two, I absolutely love these two here. This all packaging material, all of this. The Blue God on packaging material. Absolutely fantastic. I can't show the other stuff. Paul is there, but that's a whole bunch more. I've already shown that in the past. So, yeah, it's nice. The light is pretty neat right now. I like it. So we have to bring much more stuff to the other house. And I'm also gonna bring the king-size bed, which I'm dreading, but we need it because we decided to buy the Tesla Cybertruck finally. So it was always back and forth between the BrightDrop van from General Motors or the Cybertruck. We really need a van, a large van, like a bus, like a motorhome. But that one is not self-driving, and it's a problematic situation right now because the prices are going to go up because that one is made in Canada. So, and to be honest, I would rather not buy something from Canada as long as Justin Trudeau is in charge of it, because I don't want to give them, that's the cabal, that's the corporate agenda. Justin Trudeau is mafia corporate agenda cabal. Okay. And I don't want to give them any money. Okay, that is my personal incentive for them to make things better. And the majority of the public in Canada wants Trudeau to leave and wants Canada to become a state of the United States. The vast majority of them. Okay, so why is Trudeau still in there? That's a good question to ask, right? Obviously. But he's in there because he's not elected. He appointed himself. He coronated himself into it. Because they have such terrible people that are in public official seats that will facilitate all of this and that will enable this. The corrupt people have brought themselves into all of these different political leverage positions, and then they bring in more corrupt people. That's how it goes. Well, we have seen it here, but the majority has spoken, and it was Elon Musk who made it happen. Okay. Without him, this would not have happened. Without Elon Musk's tremendous help with the election, with the really fair, this time, fair election process, the unfair election people that are from the cabal, they could not keep up with that. They simply could not keep up with the tremendous work that Elon Musk has done, and millions and millions of dollars that he has put into the campaign to get Donald Trump elected. And the majority of people have elected him. So he helped to facilitate this fair election. Otherwise, this would not have been a fair election. Otherwise, the cabal would have always figured out how to manipulate the voting outcome again and again and again and again. Okay, they pull every string they have. Okay, to create an unfair election outcome. This is the fact. Okay, I'm not making this up. Most people know that. Okay, so, and Donald Trump can make this all happen. He can make Canada into a state, and that will save their economy. It will save these people's lives. It will save lots and lots and lots of children from being forced into sex change operations and really gruesome suicide. That's another thing that needed to be said. I have to keep an eye on this here. But this is most people don't have any idea what's happening in Canada. I mean, it's actually worse than El Salvador or Panama. It's actually worse because the corporate agenda has such leverage in Canada that, and I don't understand how this can come about. Not just do they facilitate or force or push people that are depressed into committing suicide, into getting their medications or their euthanasia medications. That's not all. Their euthanasia medications are really, really bad. I read an article on it. I was shocked. I just can't believe it. How can this happen? Are they sadistic, these people? Is that Trudeau and these other people, are they sadistic? I mean, it's like even worse than Dr. Fauci and Bill Gates, seems like. It's almost worse. I mean, I don't know if there can be anything worse than those people, but they created euthanasia drugs that are administered that cause the person taking these drugs to suffer a gruesome death for a week. It's like for 1 week they suffer gruesomely before they die, before the system shuts down. What's going on there, What is happening with this? Now, that, if Donald Trump if we can do it, and I believe he can rescue Canada, Donald Trump and Robert Kennedy are immediately going to outlaw those dangerous, gruesome drugs. Okay, they're going to be banned, those drugs. And so the only explanation I can come up with, I guess they're probably sadistic, but I think the main driving force there is greed. Because that's what it always is, the main driving force, with all of these terrible things. Okay, it is greed, where the pharma industry, they are everywhere. They're all over the place. They're not just in the United States. They're in Canada. They're also in South America, and they're not bound to any location. They have all kinds of cabal people, the reptos that are running it, so that have absolutely no empathy at all. It's for them, it's only to make more money, and they do that by creating all kinds of situation where people are just surrendered to them through the drugs. The people have been beaten down into submission and into taking those drugs and into worse depression. They're not helping, they're making everything worse with these people. And the reason, that's my guess, the reason why these horrific, torturous euthanasia drugs that they have in Canada, the reason why they cause people to go through a gruesome dying process for a week is so that they can prolong the drug administration process in order to give people more and more and more drugs until they're dead. Like to force them to die a slow, gruesome death for a week so that they can give these euthanasia drugs to them, not just, if it was Nembutal, it would be just 1 doses and that's it. The person falls asleep with Nembutal or pentobarbital. I think that's the same medication. It's a narcotic. It It puts people under. It is used for operations, and it's used for euthanasia. And yeah, if you overdose, that happened to Paul in the hospital. The anesthesiologist, a lady, got mad at him. I was waiting with Kenny in the van for, 5 hours. I was crying and crying and crying because I intuitively felt that something was probably going badly wrong. And this anesthesiologist just got really mad and said, "I'm gonna wallop him." That's what she said. That's the last words that he heard her say. And then he was walloped. And she just gave him an extra dose. And he could have easily not woken up from that, because he said it felt like they had to revive him with those reviving methods to reactivate the heart, the cardiopulmonary resuscitation process. Because when I came in there finally, because I was getting really worried after like 5 or 6 hours, I came in there with my dog Kenny, Great Dane. We walked through this entire corridor until we got into the ER, and got into this operation room. And there was Paul, and he looked like he was barely conscious. He was pale like a sheet. And he looked like he had just come out of some kind of coma or something, or maybe even had the vital signs completely stop, and they had to revive him. So these are all, of course, these people they're never without the vital signs for very long, or they couldn't be revived. So this is all very quick, but the vital signs should never come to a stop. Okay, that's malpractice. Okay, that's criminal. What that anesthesiologist did is a crime, and she should go to prison for that. But to find a lawyer to take a case like this, where it is word against word, and we don't have access to a good lawyer, and it's just Paul reporting it, right? They will dismiss this as imagination. He doesn't have proof. If he had a body camera on him, if he had something on him, on his ear, or some kind of camera, they would not allow him with this camera. If they found out that he had a camera, they would take that off, because they know they're making mistakes. They know that, and that's why they don't want a camera in there. Okay, that's why these are not most of those are not good people. Okay, that's a fact. But pentobarbital, that's not a gruesome death. Okay, what they did in Canada is a gruesome death. That is absolutely horrific. And they do this so that they can give the maximum amount of medications in order to be paid for this maximum amount of medications that are being administered every single day, making the patient weaker and suffer even more until the system shuts down. You got to picture that. I mean, that is... I've never even heard of anything. I've never even seen a horror movie that had something like this going on. That's why they always say the reality is worse than any fiction you can imagine. It really is. And the truth is being uncovered, is being discovered, and being brought to the public attention now. So the truth is coming out, okay? Whether they try to conceal it as much as they can or not, the truth is coming to the surface. Sooner or later, the truth always finds its way to the surface and to the public. And I just pray to the blue God that Donald Trump is able to make Canada into a state, and he and Robert Kennedy and Elon Musk, they are going to immediately ban those drugs, those horrific torture drugs. They're going to ban them, okay? Because those drugs they couldn't even have a street value, because how can they have a street value when they make people suffer, right? It doesn't, that wouldn't work. Nobody would want them, not even for free. So, but they use those there because they force them into their medical system and into the hospitals. The corporate agenda forced it in there, and then the public, the doctors and nurses, they have no legislative say in any of this, okay? They are just following orders, basically. And I think a lot of them may not even know what these drugs are doing. So, because some of those doctors and nurses may not be sadistic, they may care to some point, right? Maybe there's some very caring people among them, but they may not even know what that does to the patients. There was a lady that came out, a whistleblower, that talked about this about a year ago, how bad that is. So that needs to come to an end now, absolutely. So the truth is coming out, and things are being repaired. And I am infinitely grateful to Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Tulsi Gabbard and Robert Kennedy. Okay, those are my 4 heroes. They are gods, and they're here to rescue the whole world. So, you guys take care. Bye-bye.